We usually think a medical diagnosis begins the moment a pathologist looks through a microscope. The process actually starts earlier, at the exact second a scalpel separates tissue from the body. Once cut off from a living vascular network, biological material begins to die. Cells shrink, autolysis breaks down structures, and bacteria move in. Preventing this immediate degradation is the first vital hurdle of pathology. To manage this, laboratory services operate under a strict three-phase system: pre-analytical, analytical, and post-analytical. This flowchart maps a specimen's journey through those stages, tracking it from extraction to the final report. The first phase, the pre-analytical pipeline, takes place entirely outside the lab. It relies on clinical services, the doctors and nurses in the operating rooms and clinics. Even though clinicians execute these early steps, the pathology laboratory dictates the standard operating procedures. The final slide's quality depends entirely on how the sample is handled in these initial moments. This creates a major logistical bottleneck at the laboratory reception. Hundreds of varied, highly sensitive tissue samples are arriving constantly from different clinics, each requiring immediate stabilization. Transporting these samples requires a rigid physical and chemical pipeline. The goal is to completely freeze biological time before the actual analysis can begin. The entire process begins at a single node, specimen collection. The physician must select the exact right method to extract the tissue. This choice establishes the physical limits of every test the lab can run later. We can separate these collection methods into two major categories: surgical specimens and cytology specimens. Surgical extractions range from full organ resections down to highly targeted core needle biopsies for bone marrow and breast tissue, or endoscopic biopsies for the respiratory and gastrointestinal tracts. Cytology collection focuses on individual cells. This includes direct smears from the skin or cervix, draining body fluids like cerebrospinal or pleural fluid, and extracting blind aspirates from tumors. If the clinical team uses an inappropriate sampling method for the target site, the physical specimen arrives compromised. A laboratory cannot test cellular structures it did not receive. Poor collection at the source guarantees a failed diagnosis. Once the tissue is successfully collected, it moves immediately to specimen fixation. The biochemical objective here is to lock the cellular structure into a state as close to living tissue as possible. This critical step requires immediately submerging the fresh tissue directly into a harsh chemical preservative to entirely halt cellular decomposition. This table outlines the highly specific chemical standards required, depending on the tissue type. For solid surgical specimens, the baseline preservative is 10% neutral buffered formalin. But the chemical alone is not enough. The volume of the formalin must be 10 to 20 times the size of the physical specimen to ensure total penetration. Cytology specimens, which are mostly fluids and single-cell smears, require an entirely different protocol. If the lab plans to run Papinicola staining, the sample must be fixed using 95% ethanol or a dedicated fixative spray. However, if May-Grunwald Giemsa staining is needed, the sample must be air-dried, with or without 100% methanol. Placing a sample in generic liquid storage will ruin it. Fixation requires a specific molecular intervention, tailored directly to the exact test the pathologist will run. Even with the correct chemical and the exact volume ratio, the sample is useless if the clinical team misses the temporal window. Time itself is a distinct tracked variable. Standard operating procedures use this mathematical formula to measure cellular decay: cold ischemic time. It calculates the precise duration between the moment of surgical extraction and the moment of chemical submersion. Tracking this metric is highly urgent for advanced tumor evaluations, particularly with breast tissue biopsies. For these specific specimens, the ischemic window must be kept to less than 1 hour. Prolonged time without blood flow degrades highly delicate molecular targets, such as estrogen, progesterone, and HER2 receptors, before they can be evaluated. Failing to record and minimize this temporal gap erases critical diagnostic data before the tissue ever leaves the hospital. Preserving the physical tissue is only half the pre-analytical phase. The rest relies on the metadata required to track it. These identical containers group and package patient specimens for mass transport. The cardinal rule of identification is that patient labels must be permanently affixed to the primary container itself, never the lid. Lids are easily swapped in a busy clinic. Additionally, if multiple lesions are extracted from the same patient, they must be strictly segregated into separate containers to preserve their distinct anatomical origins. Each container must be paired with a pathology request form containing mandatory inputs, patient details, the requesting service, the exact date and time of collection, the sampling site, and the specific test requested. If the clinical history is missing from this paperwork, the pathologist is forced to analyze the cells without knowing the patient's symptoms. Getting these matched sets of tissue and data to the lab presents a logistical challenge. For efficiency, centralized pathology labs often process samples for populations exceeding 1 million people. Moving these biological hazards over vast distances requires adherence to strict transport regulations, including those established by the International Air Transport Association. The specimens arrive at laboratory reception. Here, physical tissue and digital data merge. Technicians verify all identifiers match perfectly. Only then is the specimen accessioned, assigned a unique pathology number linking the physical jar and cassettes to the patient record. A single mismatch between the physical label and the request form results in immediate rejection, voiding the surgical procedure and all chemical efforts. The highly technical analytical work done inside the laboratory is entirely subordinate to the integrity of the pre-analytical phase. No amount of sophisticated microscopy or computational analysis can correct physical errors made during collection, chemical fixation, or data entry. Pathology remains a discipline highly dependent on human exactitude and an unbroken chain of custody. To prevent failures at the reception desk, there must be continuous, direct communication and shared electronic medical records bridging the clinic and the lab. Establishing a flawless pre-analytical pipeline is the only guaranteed way to convert rapidly degrading biological matter into precise diagnostic truth.